I've been thinking a lot about place lately. As in, how did I arrive at this place? Why did I come to Duluth, Minnesota? I mean, on the one hand, it's an easy answer. I came here because of a job. The university had a position, I applied for it, and I was lucky enough to get it. And so after 7 years of Los Angeles, I moved here, not really knowing anything about the town. In fact, not counting one night on vacation when I was 5, I'd never been here before. I didn't even own a winter coat. So what lured me here? And how has Duluth so quickly become my home? That place, as Robert Frost describes it, where when you have to go there, they have to take you in. How did Duluth so quickly become that place for me? Lake is a character in and of itself. Sometimes placid, a mirror. Other times turbulent, all roiling waves. And always nourishing. It's the life force of this town. Whether it's the fresh, clear, cold water that comes into our taps, some of the best drinking water in the world, or a means to go kayaking, a place to skip rocks, or just lose yourself. This lake is the pulse, the blood that flows through our veins. Walk along the lake walk and you'll feel it. View it from any downtown building and you'll see it. Duluth without Lake Superior is like Sunny without Cher. Abbott without Costello? Please.
This large vessel allows us to go out on the lake and take a whole class out there. Well, one of the things we were doing today was simply looking at the clarity of the water. And water clarity is an excellent index of water purity. And the students were able to find that you could see down 30 feet or more in Lake Superior. It's a really clear example for them of how pure this lake is. Big plankton on our left.
All right. The water here is particularly soft. It mirrors the brewing water in some of the more famous brewing areas like Pilsen in Czechoslovakia, the famous Pilsner Urquell. That water is very soft with a low mineral content. Lake Superior's water is the same, and it's even more pristine. So that water itself, I can literally just run it out of the tap and brew with it if I so feel. A lot of brewers are forced to adjust their water chemistry to the beer they're making because the water might have impurities or too much mineral content. We're perfect. Our water is just ideal. The lake is a huge draw besides, for me personally, also as a brewer, beer is 91% water. This is going to be good. And we'll do this.
That natural resource right there made me very excited to brew beer here. And I feel fortunate to be right next to it. We make about 110, 120 different beers a year right out of this location, and usually keep 20 to 25 different beers on tap. And for a brewer, that's like Christmas every day.
Flavor's good.
I live across the street from the lake, which is pretty common. A lot of people live right near the lake. I can pick up my kayak and I can walk across the street and I can drop it in Lester River and paddle out into the lake and I mean in 5 minutes I can be on the water. When I'm working downtown at the newspaper, I can look out the window and I can see my little sailboat at Lakehead Boat Basin, and it's wonderful. I mean, I know I can just run down there in 10 minutes I'm under the bridge and on the lake.
something about a port, you know? It smells, it sounds, tugboats, ships from all over the world. It's one of the things that distinguishes this town, this port. I mean, St. Cloud doesn't have a port. Grand Forks doesn't have a port. Sioux Falls doesn't have a port. And this isn't some frilly make-believe kind of port. This is the real thing. This is roll up your sleeves, spit on your hands, Carl Sandburg, city of big shoulders kind of stuff. And here's the thing about this town. Its port is not just a literal launching place, it's also a metaphorical one. This place doesn't just launch ships, it launches ideas.
He's talking about some angle iron and getting that brick to have something to hook onto. What's that? What's that?
He's just...
We looked at this building. It's the old City Hall. It's the original City Hall of Duluth. It's a 3-story building, and it's built in the late 1800s. It is the cornerstone or the centerpiece to what we have going on in the city of Duluth here. What you're going to see, hopefully by the middle of summer, is a totally restored beautification of this old building. Our passion is to bring culture, sport, health, eclectic art to Duluth. And so this building is our gateway to that. This building is going to become a physical arts building. It's good, eh? It's getting flat. Right. And so we're calling this building a real rose in the center of the city, and we want it to represent that which is eclectic, fun, and weird and unusual. But we also want it to represent that which is good, healthy, and wholesome. And we want this building to be a direct reflection of what's on our insides. We're getting it done right now. This is poetry in motion right here. Duluth really has. We call it the zenith of the city, but really it's the adventure city. And what I mean by that is the weather is an adventure, the boardwalk's an adventure, the hiking's an adventure, the new business idea is an adventure. My friends love adventure. Is it going to snow tomorrow? That's an adventure. It's all about your approach to what you see or can't see. And so I choose Duluth as my home. I've lived in other places, and it's a clear choice.
The important thing in architecture is that there generally is something rooted in the culture that emerges in the architecture, that even though it may be a regional thing and it emerges from that culture and that specific place or that region, somehow that is an ingredient that is incorporated into a broader architectural philosophy. You know, to have a site like this in Duluth that overlooks the lake is pretty sensational. Equally, I would say, being that we're building right on solid granite ledge, it makes it all the more aesthetic and more, sort of rooted into the land. But this view is just about surreal. It's just sort of beyond expectation, and it's beyond sort of understanding.
The music is wonderful here. It's a great town for music, which much of the world knows, but not all of it.
The Weber has as fine acoustics as any building anyone's ever going to be in for music. In fact, National Public Radio referred to it as the finest small concert hall in the nation and maybe the world.
We have tons of people going through this hall, and every time, every single one of them, they come here and they say, "Oh my God, this is a lovely hall. This is great to play in this hall."
When you hear people talk about the great halls of Europe, like the Concertgebouw, for example, in Amsterdam, it's with reverence, because there's something that happens in the process of making music when you have a great environment that makes the experience magical.
Building something that sounds good, that's very valuable, not only to the students and their education, but for the city of Duluth.
So we decided to make a match, put out wedding, paid in cash, told the one around Zach playing. If they knew, they wouldn't understand. Big stuff.
Come to Duluth and enjoy the blues. You don't have to go to Chicago to get the blues. You can find it right up in North Country.
Southern Comfort's what you need.
We have a immature bald eagle out here over the top of the near ridge.
Well, we're at Hawk Ridge Nature Reserve in Duluth, Minnesota, and this is one of the top 3 locations in the country where you can view large numbers of migrating raptors during the fall.
Look at those short, rounded wings to help them get through the woods.
Also, look how long these legs are. Accipiters have incredibly long legs.
It's really wonderful for us to be able to take the birds that they are banding at the station. We take some of them and bring them up to the main overlook, and we talk about them. We do demonstrations with them and teach people about raptors, and they get kind of a personal connection with birds.
Bring it on, come on.
I got involved with Hawk Ridge because I am a bird nerd. I am. This is a perfect fit for me because I get to kind of be involved with a little of the research part, or at least have access to it, but I can also come up here and talk about birds and get people excited about birds. So this is the perfect place for me.
Immigrants from all over the world came, and they brought their cultures here, and that's what makes this such of a melting pot. Truly American, an American example of the melting pot. Now it attracts a new kind of immigrants that are from the U.S., sort of coming to this sort of natural environment, this amazing lake and the sort of the edge of the wilderness, the naturalists and the people who love to kayak and do hunting and endurance sports. And, so there's another sort of it's another kind of a present day immigration of our own people from our own country because of this unique place.
You know, when I think of Duluth, quite often I think of the connection we have and how we feel a real strong peace or being with ourselves here. And as an adventure athlete, racer, and former professional, I live in Duluth for that reason. I choose to stay here because of the experiences and opportunities we have.
Really neat to row here in Duluth. We have the bay and the lake, and it's a great thing for athletes and non-athletes to do just during the whole summer. Stay in shape or get in shape. It's a good thing for families to get involved with.
You know, I'm like that bird in the children's book, Are You My Mother? He's hatched, he can't find a parent, so he goes around and he asks everyone if they're his mother. He asks cows, dogs, you name it. Well, in a way, that's me lately. I'm obsessed with remembering, with discovering why I came here.
The roots of Cirrus Design actually start with just that, our passion for aviation. And there is no good starting point on that. I mean, I've been in love with airplanes since before I can remember. And at a very young age, we started thinking about, well, what kind of business would we have? Well, we love airplanes, we want to have some kind of business. So in high school, we were already starting to talk about building airplanes, having a business that built airplanes. When Cirrus moved to Duluth in 1994, and actually January 1st, 1994, we were painting the hangar floor to begin operations. We were still an R&D company. We were in the process of developing for certification the SR-20. We moved about 30 people up here from central Wisconsin, obviously immediately began hiring. And our original goal with the city for from an economic development point of view was 160. Actually, I think there was a lower number, but the second piece of it took us up to an expected size of 160. We're very proud to be here today. This is, after 5.5 years, an important event for us, the delivery of the first customer SR-20. There was probably a pretty small handful of people that thought that Cirrus would ever get to 160. We now employ over 1,300 people, of which about 900 are here in Duluth. We're building about 700 airplanes this year. We'll build probably 800 airplanes next year. But there's no real reason why that's not 5,000 airplanes, and obviously that means much larger facilities, much larger staff, much larger payroll, much larger economic impact. So it really is a lot of different choices here. Great people, great place, great environment. It's been a wonderful place to grow the company.
Park is downtown waterfront, so a lot of these old buildings here you can see used to house a lot of warehouses, manufacturing places. Ships used to dock all the way along the lakeside here. I have this fantastic hillside to look at. I have the largest body of fresh water right on the side there. And the culture itself, it kind of amazes me that it acts like a small town to me, but yet there's, 98,000 people that live here? So it's a city as well. So I think it's the best of both worlds here. Now, if you guys take a look down onto the street here, you can see a yellow line that goes across it, and that marks the official finish line of Grandma's Marathon.
Tailwind for the runners, warm on their fronts, and people are smiling, and the energy is just positive. You know, you cheer and they smile back, and it's just great. It's just great. Love it. I'm lucky. My wife is out here running, and she'll be coming down here soon.
Very happy. It was a fast race for me. It was beautiful weather, a tailwind, great crowds. Probably warm for some, but again, it's a slower runner. It was a great race. Just the crowds were awesome.
Canal Park is crowded and people are hanging out. It's just like, what better place could you be in third week of June? It's just great.
I am starting as an orthopedic oncologist here at St. Mary's Duluth Clinic. My residency was in orthopedics at Boston Medical Center. Then I went to MD Anderson in Houston to do a 2-year fellowship in orthopedic oncology, specializing in the treatment of patients with primary bone and soft tissue tumors and metastatic disease. These tumors are relatively rare, especially compared to other types of cancers which occur so much more frequently. The emphasis on providing high-quality care in the community setting was very appealing. It's not usual that you have a chance to do that, to do the tertiary care medicine in a smaller city where you can really be a part of the community in so many other ways as well. Lake Superior is just so spectacular. Its expanse, its color, everything. The activity, even when there aren't many boats, but just watching the waves, the whitecaps, the birds. It was a big draw, and to someone very used to seeing the Atlantic Ocean every day, it was somewhat comforting to have that big body of water right there.
Some things to think about. How cold is it? Will you need to wear your long johns, or will the heavy wool pants over your blue jeans be enough? Which socks? Which boots? Which jacket? Scarf? Do you need the choppers with the wool liners, or just gloves? How fast will you be moving? If you are skiing, or God forbid, going to the mall, will you be too warm? Do you have enough Kleenex? Ask yourself what you have forgotten. Do not ask yourself why or how. Remember to take your keys out of your pocket before you put on your gloves.
You discover that there is no bad weather here. There is no ugly day. Because of the water, because of the sky, because of the fact that all of this is available to us in 5 minutes, 1 minute, just looking out the window. It's always there. All last winter, I would head over to Park Point and park my car, and I would run on this sand next to the water. If you're running on the beach and the temperature has suddenly dropped, you see the sea smoke. Smokes and spirals of fog come swimming up off the lake, and they go up hundreds of feet. And you look out over the lake, and there's this kind of silver blue glitter punctuated by pillars of smoke going out as far as you can see. It's unbelievable. I mean, just unbelievable. It's not a matter of scenic, it's a matter of completely transforming. If you see that every day, it does tremendous things to you. Obviously, you can't ever live anywhere else.
So it's a beautiful spring morning in Duluth. Sun's coming up over the lake. And at the moment, it's just me and the Luster River, a couple of seagulls, and I think one steelhead on the opposite bank. You know what this feels like? Home.